Good evening, my loves. Welcome to a random impromptu reading. I've just been called to do a quick reading for the collective, but this is a very specific one. So I've got a few decks here which I'll talk about, but the reading today, wine time, is inspired by anybody that is going through a difficult situation in a relationship. So this will be targeted at a more romantic relationship, and probably geared more towards people that are in some sort of facing some sort of challenge, maybe even a separation. But just to get some insight in terms of where they're at, where you're at, and sort of what the future potentially holds energetically for the two of you. So without further ado, this is the Oracle of Shadows and Light by Lucy Cavendish. So let's just sort of see what theme we're working with. Okay. So I don't know if you can see that properly. It says sewer mermaid, which is probably one of the least sexy terms I could think of. But we're dealing with the sewer mermaid. Your sensuality is beautiful. So immediately what I'm sensing here is it's almost like an oxymoron, right? We're sort of saying, you know, your sensuality is beautiful, but yet there's this thing about the sewer. So for some of you that that watched my reading for Mercury retrograde, you would have seen that there was something in reference to sort of sexy times with, you know, taking action around that element of our life. It could be connected for some of you, it might not be. But I am sensing that, you know, your energy right now is there's a disconnect and a misalignment with your sensuality and your belief that you are sensual and that you are beautiful. It's almost like you're wallowing in this energy of feeling unattractive and unloved. And it could be because this person is not meeting you where you are, is not being responsive, is not being affectionate, is not giving you the things that you need to sort of reaffirm what you should be believing, which is your sensuality is beautiful. So let's sort of get a couple of tarot cards. So this is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck by Krans. Just to sort of see, to clarify. I don't read this deck in reverse, so Seven of Wands, Chariot, and Ten of Wands. So yeah, so there's definitely an energy here of burden, fighting. It doesn't necessarily need to be argumentative, but certainly an energy of really fighting for something we believe in, but feeling like against the odds that is happening. So it's almost like fighting against the tide. It's like you're advocating for something really passionately that you really believe in, but it's being met with defenses. You know, there's a forward momentum and a desire for us to want to get to a conclusion, get to the end, resolve whatever this looks like and get people to meet in the middle. But we're feeling that it's just burdensome. It's just creating a really heavy sensation, almost like a can't be fucked kind of sensation, because this isn't where you want it to be. You want to be a mermaid, not a sewer mermaid, yeah? But this kind of stuff that's happening here, this burden, this argument, this sort of constantly repeating yourself, which I absolutely hate, by the way. But that kind of energy is exhausting, right? Because you're trying to move forward. You're kind of like, how do we solve this? How do we get around this? How can you sort of give me what I need? Because I feel like I'm being prescriptive about what I need. I'm telling you what I need, right? And I'm continually trying to drive this forward, yet you're meeting me with barriers. So whether that's your lack of capacity to meet me where I am, or your inability to understand what these things mean. And inadvertently, these things are driving me to feel like that I'm not feeling sensual, I'm not feeling beautiful, I'm not feeling loved, I'm not feeling respected, I'm not feeling cherished and honored, right? Which is why you're sitting in that sewer energy. So really what's happening here, the energy for you is kind of feeling like, man, I'm over the fighting. It shouldn't be this hard, right? Shouldn't be so burdensome. There should be a lightness that comes with a relationship. And it doesn't matter whether it's something new or something established, there should be a lightness. It should bring you joy. And I'm not saying all relationships are easy, hell to the no, but certainly there's an energy right now. Apologies if there's background noise. Goddamn, living on a main road. Sorry. But yeah, so, you know, it's a reminder here to seek your own lightness, to not sit in this sewer rat energy, you know what I mean? Like, don't misery loves company, right? We love wallowing sometimes. I get it. But you need to lift yourself out of that. As much as you want this person to validate some of this stuff about you, until it comes from yourself first, you're not going to believe it anyway. Do you know what I mean? Like it's almost like you're fighting a battle that you can't win until you've overcome some of these obstacles yourself. So the reminder here with your energy is kind of like, you are beautiful. Your sensuality and you in all your imperfection is beautiful and gorgeous and sensual and amazing. And you know what? If they can't deal with it, then screw them. But let's kind of get an energy right now of where they're at to kind of see what sort of their energy towards you. What are they sort of sensing, sort of feeling? Where are their headspace? What's going on? Are they sitting at home on a Friday night drinking a glass of wine on their own, watching YouTube videos or tarot readings? Who knows? They could be. So we have Poe. Oh, little Poe. Time for change, to learn something new, advanced technology. Okay, so at a rudimentary level, some dudes could just be gaming right now, because that's just much easier to be playing Fortnite or whatever the hell kids are playing now, because that's taking them away from reality. You know, it's something that they need to take their mind off the burden or the stress or the strain that they're feeling around this stuff to escape. But for them, there's also a time for change. So this is signaling that they know inherently deep down that something needs to change, because the way that it's working right now just ain't working, right? So even though there's an opportunity, it's almost, you know, like we said, it's a light and shadow deck, right? So the light side of this is acknowledging that, yes, it's time to learn something to seek change. But to me, the advanced technology talks more to the shadow side, which is around, you know, we love to distract ourselves, you know? So it could be sitting on the computer. It could be, you know, VR porn. Like, I don't know, treat yourself, whatever makes you like happy. But see, you got a Two of Cups. Oh, this one. So, you know, interesting energy, because the Two of Cups is a very romantic card. The Two of Cups traditionally in the tarot is a card of union. It's a card of, you know, a couple. It's a card of two people coming together. It's about equality. It's about filling each other's cup. It's about an offering. But it's equal, right? So this person is sensing a very different energy to you. I think in their mind, they're like, no, well, I feel like I am meeting her somewhere. I am being loving. I am trying to, you know, show her or tell her or whatever it is. But there's something they're getting in their own way. Because to me, the Seven of Cups is about illusion and choices, and temptation as well. It's kind of like saying, you know, I'm sometimes sitting in the energy, but I can't help myself but kind of think, oh, is there something else out there? Oh, you know, and dating right now, let's be honest, encourages that behavior, because everything's at our fingertips. It's making things so accessible for us that we tend to sort of, you know, advance technology. This could be like this whole, am I on Bumble? Am I on Tinder? Is there something else that could be going on here? Even though I kind of fundamentally am seeking this, I can't get myself out of this energy where I'm reliant on these things, because it's like, what if? What if there's something better? What if there's someone out there? And it's got nothing to do with you. It's more to do with them and their inability to be really clear on their own intention about what they need, which is why frivolously we constantly seek instant gratification with swiping, because we're not clear on our intention. We're not clear on what we're seeking. And then Daughter of Wands is the Page of Wands. And that to me is about, you know, something we're passionate about, something we're driven by. You know, it's about having the idea of what that is. And that's this clarity, right? So they need to get to this place when they need to drop that bullshit and walk away from those cups and be clear on their intention and be clear on what makes them passionate, what, you know, really sets their soul on fire. Not just this fly by night. These two, to me, are lovely together. You know, they're sort of saying that, like, the will is there, I just need to be clear. But it's like, I can't extricate myself from that. I can't extricate myself from this sort of what else is out there kind of energy. So, I mean, good for you, but at the same time, annoying. So if we're doing that, and for some of you, it might not be necessarily specifically about technology. Like I said, when you're doing a reading for the collective, it's not going to resonate with everyone. But the message there could also be that the choices aren't necessarily in reality. So if you're in a established relationship, it doesn't mean that they're like, I need to be on like Bumble or Tinder. It could just be just that what if, right? What else is out there? What else could I be seeking? What else could things look like? Doesn't mean they want to leave you. Doesn't mean they don't love you. It just means that they're not really clear on their intention and they're confused. So leave them to it. So what are some of what's the sort of energy towards each other right now? So we've already seen the energy of the individuals. What's sort of the energy towards each other right now? Clockwork Pumpkin. I like her. She's a sassy redhead. A wonderful idea, the aha moment. See, clarity is coming. But let's see what the clarity is about. Clarity doesn't always necessarily mean happily ever after. But let's see. Let's see what clarity is coming forth. We have 10 of Pence. Hierophant. Oh, big dick energy. Family, tradition, stability, legacy. That's kind of what this card sort of speaks of. This is like a happily ever after card. 10 of Cups is one of my favorites. It's really a card about sort of what's that ultimate ending for you? What's the happily ever after? It's also, the shadow side of this card is also to not necessarily live in that fairy tale. So whilst it's very nice to be like, oh my God, I'm going to reach, happiness when we get whatever this kind of looks like, whether it's, the white picket fence and the kids or whatever that looks like for you, there is sometimes a danger for us to fall into fantasy with that. So whilst this is a great card, it's just a reminder also, because we're doing shadow and light work, that there could be something in that as well. But having those two together says to me, long-term foundation with joy as the ultimate sort of goal. And the Hierophant to me is a card that's really it's about a few things, but I think in this sort of configuration, it's about tradition and convention in a good way though. So it could be marriage for some people. It could be a solid relationship that's based on aligned values, wanting the same things, seeking the same sort of outcomes. So it's kind of a very conventional, traditional relationship. So the energies towards each other is like there's a desire for these things, but there could be this energy here around maybe some of it's a little bit in fantasy. Maybe some of it is kind of, I'm just going to take a quick sip of wine. Maybe some of it's unattainable. It's almost like we're setting ourselves up to fail, right? There's a key of knowledge here as well, which is sort of linking to this aha moment. So for some of you, very straightforward. Some of you, very straightforward that you're both going to come together and realize you both want the same thing and having that aha moment if they work through their shit. But for others, what this is also saying is slightly similar, but not necessarily such a fruitful outcome, which is the key of knowledge and the aha moment is the realization that that's not necessarily aligned, right? That we are sort of like, even though we're seeking this, it could be a little bit pie in the sky, too much pressure to be perfect, right? And convention for some people could drive them away. So in some instances, if you're both seeking the same thing, that can look great. For others, it could just mean that this moment is the realization that you're kind of seeking different things, and that's your aha moment. So take whatever resonates. If the message isn't there for you, this reading might not be for you, and that's okay. Might get you next time. So now that we've seen that, let's just get a couple of cards now to just break up the stress of what that looks like and just get a little bit of advice. How are we going to reach some sort of conclusion and get some sort of answer? Whoa, big one. One of my favorite cards, but also the one that ouchies. Honesty. I can't always expect the truth from others, but I can expect it from myself. Ooh. Just going to leave that to percolate. And then Rebel Deck, just because I feel like it just gives you a little bit of sass when you need it. You think someone is lying. Guess what? They are. Could be you. Doesn't necessarily need to be them. Could be you. Oh shit, I feel like this reading's gone a little bit heavy. Unlike my Pinot, which is quite light and delightful. Oh, curiosity. Whoa! Meeting new people. I remember what a treasure trove of opinions, interests, and stories they are. But these treasures will only be unlocked if I embrace my curiosity. So I'll be curious and be interesting. Deal? Oh, wait. I see a little bit of symbolism. Key and a key. Aha moments potentially is because what you're seeking isn't even with this person. So maybe exactly like I was saying, maybe even though it's like, oh yeah, that's what I think I kind of want, the aha moment's the realization that it's not aligned with whoever this person that you're seeking this reading about. Maybe you're lying to yourself about what or who it is that you want because you desperately want this so much, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all want to live happily ever after, so don't admonish yourself or beat yourself up for wanting this. I want to say that right now. That's bullshit. I'm going to call bullshit on that. Don't let anyone take hope away from you. Hate that. So maybe what I'm saying here is I'm sensing that, you know, maybe you're lying to yourself about square peg round hole, right? Because you can't always expect the truth from others, but you can from yourself. So, whew, boy, that was not how I expected it to end with these cards. But yeah. And look, like I said, for some of you, that's a straightforward response. For others, it could genuinely mean that the separation or challenge with this person and this perseverance and this fighting has come to a point where it's kind of like they're not telling you the truth. They're not being honest with you. So you need to seek solace in another direction. But understanding that there isn't always just one key for the lock, if you know what I'm saying. I mean, hopefully you don't have a chastity belt because that would be awkward. I'm pretty sure there is only one key for that lock. But, you know, just reminding you that even though we might believe that someone was right for us at whatever time, things change, people change, it's okay. It'd be disappointing, sure, but, you know, being curious and being, you know, reminding you that there is something outside of what you've already got that can probably give you what you need is probably something that you need to keep in mind. So there's your reading, guys. Hope that resonated. If it didn't, maybe I'll get you next time. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, leave me some comments, let me know how you're going. And I'll catch you next time for your next reading. Thanks, bye.